having a good day? Yeah?
Genre of music, my nigga. Rockin' burger. Fuck it. I'm so fucking tired, bro. This is terrible. Yo, nigga, don't piss me off. This burger shit is dead ass getting as bad as I thought. Bad as I thought burger shit was, this is the worst shit it's got.
What the fuck is this piece of shit?
That is fucking terrible, dog.
shit, praise the shit, that's what pimpin's all about. Lay a shit, praise the shit, that's what pimpin's all about.
I know I'm fat.
I know I'm a drunk. And I know I'm retarded.
It's not pretty easy. It's just a rip-off. Rip-off of death metal breakdown.
All right, people. 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 How's everyone doing? Is everyone doing good? Is everyone doing all right? How's everyone's day going? Are we having a day? Are we having a day? I'm feeling a little retarded today. I'm feeling a little regarded. I'm feeling a little regarded today. How about you guys? How about you guys? You guys feeling regarded? Are we feeling a little regarded? On a scale of regarded to regarded, how are we doing today? Are we doing good? Me, I'm feeling regarded. I'm feeling a little regarded today. Feeling a little regarded today. Tomorrow, I'll be regarded tomorrow. It's only 24 hours away. Regarded. I'll be regarded tomorrow. It's only one day away. Okay. I guess I gotta go over one. If I want to technically be heading towards the stoppage sign, do I even want to know what a Korean corn dog is? Do I even want to know what a Korean corn dog is? It sounds like it shouldn't be called a corn dog. It sounds like if I got a hold of it, I would be like, this shouldn't be called a corn dog. That's the conclusion that I'm coming to. The conclusion I'm concluding, okay? I'm concluding very hard right now. I'm coming to a stern conclusion. And the conclusion that I'm coming to is that a Korean corn dog probably shouldn't be called a corn dog. If I looked at it, I would be like, they probably shouldn't be called a corn dog. All right, guys. So when you guys, do any of you guys have access to the fountain? Okay? Do any of you guys have access to a soda fountain? Come on. I need one person minimum to answer when I ask a question. Okay? I need one person minimum to respond when I ask a question. Otherwise, there's no point in me asking questions. It annoys me that no one wants to answer my questions when I ask a question, because I'm asking, the questions are going somewhere. You always act like my questions don't go anywhere, and my questions are going somewhere if you guys would just give me a genuine answer. If I could get a genuine answer when I ask the people paying attention questions, we could get somewhere when it comes to like me doing a face stream, all right? If I could get a non-sarcastic answer to my question, we could go somewhere. But instead we're going nowhere. Okay? I'm literally sipping on caffeinated sassafras right now. All right? I'm sipping on carbonated and caffeinated sassafras right now. And you guys don't even know what the hell a sassafras is. I guarantee you that none of you guys know what the hell a sassafras is. But I'm sipping on goddamn caffeinated sassafras. And you guys have never seen caffeinated sassafras in your life. I guarantee that you guys have never once sipped on caffeinated sassafras. You guys don't even know what sassafras is, but I guarantee you that you've never sipped on carbonated and caffeinated sassafras. I guarantee you guys are non-caffeinated sassafras consumers. And what the hell, in my opinion, in Stone Cold's goddamn opinion, what the hell is the point of sipping on sassafras if you are not sipping on both caffeinated and carbonated sassafras? And you guys have never orchestrated such a thing. I guarantee you, you guys have never orchestrated such a thing or thought to orchestrate such a thing, because you don't even know what I'm talking about. I guarantee it. Hold on. You shush. Shush. You shush. You shush. Shush. You shush it. Shush it. Shush it. Shush it. Shush it. Shush it. You shush it. I guarantee you that you have never, ever, ever sipped on both carbonated and caffeinated sassafras. I guarantee it. I guarantee that you have never in your life, sipped on both carbonated and caffeinated sassafras. I promise it. I promise it. I promise it. And this is why I need you to answer my questions when asked. When asked, I need my questions answered. Otherwise, what the hell's the point of me asking you if you've ever had access to a soda fountain? Okay? You know, you guys are letting me down here. You guys are letting me down here. You know, it's like I would talk about current events, but that would offend you. My opinion would offend you if I talked about current events, because you guys just can't handle the fact that I have opinions about current events. Really, is just the thing That's just the fact of the matter. The fact of the matter is that you guys can't handle that I have opinions about current events, so I can't talk about current events. But 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 whew, shit, man, all these goddamn stops with my brakes that I gotta do, all the small things, hitting brakes, hitting the gas. Okay. So, you guys, I guarantee you guys have never sipped sassafras in your life. You've never sipped on sassafras in your life. I guarantee it. Not caffeinated sassafras. I guarantee you've never partaken in caffeinated sassafras. But the fact of the matter is that I'm once again talking to no one. I'm once again talking to no one. I've got a whole audience of none, and I've been doing this for years. And I have an audience of zero. And that's the reality of the situation at hand. The reality of the situation at hand is that I've been streaming for years, and I don't have an audience. And yes, you don't even know that I am sipping on caffeinated sassafras. And the fact of the matter is that why is the caffeine not in the carbonated sassafras to begin with? So here's the thing. You can't bring your Mormony, Mormon soda shops down here. You can't bring your Mormon soda shops down here. Number one, I'm getting out of here at the first chance, but you can't bring your Mormon soda shops down here from Utah. You can't bring your Mormon soda shops down to my state from Utah, where you guys sell dressed up cups of soda like it's Starbucks or something, where you're pumping it up like Joe Budden, where you're Joe Budden pumping it up with fucking syrups and throwing Red Bull in the fountain drinks, and it's a drive-through. You can't bring your Mormon soda shops down here when the fact of the matter is that we're not where we're supposed to be in the soda world. We're not where we're supposed to be in the soda world, okay? You can't be selling me uncaffeinated sassafras, okay? You're already not caffeinating my ginger ale. You cannot be non-caffeinating my sassafras and what's it called? Not only are you not caffeinating my sassafras, you are not caffeinating my ginger ale either, okay? But I have caffeinated my own sassafras. I've caffeinated my own sassafras. You don't even know what sassafras is. You see, here's the thing. They're bringing the Mormon soda shops down here. They're bringing the Mormon soda shops down here. These people think I don't pay attention to what's going on in my immediate area. You think you're going to sneak a Mormon soda shop on my streets that's going to be pumping the cups of soda up with syrup and selling me $5 cups of soda? You're going to be selling me $5 cups of soda. You didn't even put coffee beans in it. You didn't even heat the coffee beans. You didn't even wet the dries. Okay, you didn't wet the dries, and you're gonna be selling me $5. I caffeinated my own sassafras. Because you're not even selling me caffeinated sassafras. You're not even selling me caffeinated sassafras. Okay, never mind. Never mind, guys. I have good news. I have good news. I've done research. Okay? I've taken a second to do research, and apparently there is caffeine in sassafras. Or there is sassafras with caffeine. Okay? Apparently Barks is supposedly a notable exception. Apparently Barks root beer has caffeine. Apparently Barks root beer has caffeine. So we're good. We're good. Barks root beer has caffeine. So the world, all is right with the world, and I stand corrected. Thankfully, the AI has told me the good news. The AI has told me the good news, and apparently Barks root beer does indeed contain caffeine, and no one corrected me. No one corrected me. Okay, you guys let me stay up here and be misinformed. And we all know how disappointing the sassafras market is. Okay? We all know how much of a letdown the sassafras market is. But thankfully, Barks root beer indeed caffeine. Apparently, thank God that root beer contains caffeine, because what would we do Barks root beer? What would we do without caffeinated sassafras? What would we do without caffeinated? If all of the sassafras was uncaffeinated, what would we do? What would we do if they kept trying to hold us down in a country where they don't caffeinate the sassafras? This is one of the most important things going on right now. Thankfully, I did my research, and Barks does indeed have 22 milligrams of caffeine per serving. Thankfully, but see, if you guys would have responded to me, in any meaningful way, this could have been a discussion. This could have been a back and forth, instead of this being yet another live stream that is doomed to not even be pushed in any way, shape, or form in the algorithm due to people's inability to listen to me speak. So due to people's inability to pay attention to what I'm saying, this discussion has been entirely one-sided, and quite frankly, my day is ruined again, because if there was even a remote back and forth between me and the people popping in and out of the stream, this could have been a discussion where we discovered that Barks root beer indeed is sassafras that has caffeine in it. And I wouldn't have believed you guys. And I would have called you a naysayer, and I would have banned you if you doubted my claim. But thankfully, I did my own research, and I found out that Barks is the root beer, the sassafras that indeed does have caffeine in it. And you guys weren't here to learn that with me because of your inability to pay attention, and this is why we don't get along. We don't get along because it's been years of me talking and none of you listening. Okay, it's been years of me talking and none of you listening, and this is why we don't get along. On top of the being underpaid and disrespected for having the most ranked VR boxing wins, and I'm never going to let this go for the rest of my life. I'm never going to let it go for the rest of my life that I've been here for years talking and no one listens. We're never going to get along. That and the never paying me enough money thing. The never paying me enough money and the ignoring the fact that I have the most ranked VR boxing wins and the never being there to say anything that isn't rude while I'm streaming. That and the no concurrent viewers for years thing. I'm never going to forgive the world for that. We're always going to be at odds for that because that is just neglect and rudeness and negativity that didn't need to come my way put on me. So we're never going to get along based on the fact that I've been streaming for years and don't even have a single concurrent viewer. So I'm going to hold that against the world for the rest of my life. And we're never going to get along because of that. That's just the way it is, you know. We're never going to get along. And it's wholeheartedly because of your inability to pay attention to anything that I say and interact with me in a way that is not negative. It's just the way it is. You know, it's the unfortunate reality of the situation. The unfortunate reality of the situation is that, you know, you guys ignore the fact that I have the most VR boxing wins. The not paying me not to work for having the most VR boxing wins thing. The not paying me not to work for having the most VR boxing wins thing is going to be a grievance that I talk about for the rest of my life. I am wholeheartedly at odds with the world, not only for not acknowledging that I have the most VR boxing wins, not only for not listening to me at all in any way, shape, or form, despite the fact that I've been streaming for years, the not paying me to not work because I have the most VR boxing wins thing. When you pay people not to work for much less, for doing much less, for being much less talented, for being much less entertaining even. See, the thing is that you don't even give me good chatters to interact with. And I never have a concurrent viewer listening. So, literally just talking to no one always. Literally just talking to no one. And that's just never giving me any room to, you know, actually have a show going on here, really. I mean, so the total lack of compensating me fairly in any way thing is going to leave me at odds with the world for the rest of my life. I am always going to have a negative opinion of everyone around me, no matter where I go. No matter where I go, no matter where I am always going to have a negative opinion. Always going to have a negative opinion of the world. It will always be the case. I'm always going to be at odds with the world, always going to have a negative opinion of the world. And it's already too late to turn that around. It's already too late to change my opinion of everyone and everything. I'm going to be bitter and resentful until the end of my days, and I'm going to be bitter and resentful because of what has happened here on YouTube with my YouTube channel alone. I'm going to be bitter and resentful because of what is going on here with my YouTube channel alone until the end of my days, let alone because of everything that's gone on in the United States in my lifetime. Everything that has gone on in my personal life, the way that I've been treated my whole life, me being screwed over by the Cape Coral Police Department and the Lee County Sheriffs when it comes to my criminal record, them making me a patsy for drug trafficker Dustin Taylor, who laced drugs with fentanyl that has caused countless people's untimely demise in the North Fort Myers and Cape Coral area, as well as the Fort Myers area of Florida when I knew him. So because the Cape Coral Police Department, the Lee County Sheriffs, the State of Florida Department of Corrections, and the Lee County Court screwed my life over by making me a patsy for drug trafficker Dustin Taylor, entirely out of spite. Because of that alone, because of the way I've been treated on YouTube, because of the way that I've been treated on Discord, because of the way that I got treated at school, because of the way that I've been treated at my workplaces, I'm never going to not have a grudge against the world. The fact that I've been streaming to no one for years is an atrocity. It is inhumane that I have been streaming for so long to no one, and I'm not going to forgive the world for that. I'm not going to forgive the world for the way that I get treated, and I deserve the bare minimum. I deserve the bare minimum. And I'm one of the people that, because of the failures of society, my potential has been wasted. The potential that, like many such cases in the United States, my potential has been wasted because of the failures of the United States legal system, as well as the failures of the United States as a whole. Because of the rampant corruption of the United States and the United States legal system, I am one of the people whose lives has been irreversibly ruined by the United States legal system. I am no better off than someone living in Iran because of the abuse of the United States legal system against me by vindictive Cape Coral police officers and Lee County Sheriff. because of vindictive, narcissistic, because of vindictive, narcissistic Lee County Sheriff's officers and Cape Coral police officers, I'm one of the many people whose corruption and abuse of United States citizens that the United States legal system does has resulted in my life being irreversibly ruined, and I am no better off than someone in Iran when it comes to the fact that my life is a complete and utter waste of time and potential. My life is a complete and utter waste of time and potential, and could have done a lot more with the time that I had if I had not been made a victim of the corrupt United States legal system and the corrupt United States government, as well as the powers that be in the United States, such as the banks and the business owners of the United States, money lenders, people such as that. Because of all of the rampant corruption in the United States and the many failures of the United States legal system, not only did I prove definitively that I have potential that has been wasted by having the most VR boxing wins in the world, not only did I prove that my potential has been wasted, that my life has been a complete and utter abject waste of time. I've proven that the masses are no better. I've also proven that the masses are no better than the corrupt elite. I've proven that the masses are no better than the corrupt elite. So there's really not much reason, in my opinion, for I don't know. There's not much reason, in my opinion, for me to try very hard, I guess. My work here is done, in my opinion. I stand on the correct side of history. I stand on the correct side of history, is really all that needs to be said. I was completely and utterly right. I stand on the correct side of history, and it was indeed everyone else's failures that has caused my life to be objectively, completely and utterly miserable, when there was absolutely zero need for my life to be completely and utterly miserable. It was entirely the failures of the masses and the powerful elites, and in no way all individuals that find themselves suffering under this system are entirely blameless, because the resource has always been available in this country, and it is entirely the failures of the masses and the corrupt elite that they serve and prop up. I've been entirely correct my entire life and this entire time, and I'm still for themselves. you know, and that's the beginning and end of it. I have definitively proven that I have potential, that my potential has been entirely wasted by having the most VR boxing wins. I have definitively proven that my potential has entirely been result of the corruption of the corrupt Lee County Sheriff's officers, the corrupt Cape Coral police officers, the failures of the Lee County courts, um, and the failures of the masses. I've also proven that this is an utter failure of the masses because you've chosen to ignore me. You've chosen to never listen to me. You've chosen to pretend that I don't have anything of value to say. You've chosen to pretend that I don't have any worth or potential, and I've proven you wrong on all fronts. So it's a literal failure of the masses. I was correct the entire time. It's been proven that I was correct the entire time um, by the government itself. And that is the same corrupt government whose legal system failed me and irreversibly ruined my life, to the point that it's already too late to actually turn my life around or make my life to the standard that it should have been this entire time. It's too late. We can't go back in time and pay me all the money that I should have been earning and give me the happy life that I should have been living, because those resources were entirely within the system, entirely within the means of the system country to provide me the standard of living, which is the bare minimum that I would have needed to be happy. So it's not as if it was never within the means of this country. The money was in circulation, the system was there, the resources were there, and they were squandered, and they were given to foreign pillagers, and they were misappropriated by the corrupt elite, and the corrupt police defended the system. The corrupt police have defended the system my entire life, even been aggressive towards me for standing up for myself to protect this corrupt system. So, yes, it was entirely a failure of the Cape Coral Police Department, who made me a patsy for a drug trafficker who has unalived people, sold laced drugs, sold weapons, caused havoc on the streets of North Fort Myers and Cape Coral, and they made me a patsy for that murderer, the corrupt Cape Coral Police Department and Lee County Sheriffs, who also defend the diddler elite of the United States. So this system has entirely failed me my entire life. It was in the process of failing me before I was even born, and I was entirely correct about everything that I've said, which I was attacked over by the internet. So I've proven definitively that the masses failed, and I was correct the whole time. I've proven definitively that the powers that be failed, which is what I was saying the entire time. And the fact of the matter is that you were too ignorant to even listen to me because you were busy belly aching about the color of my skin and how I look and how I talk. So your ignorance, the masses, your ignorance failed everyone. You failed to listen to the people that were correct. You failed to stand up for yourselves to the diddlers that you serve. You failed to listen to people because of your ignorance and your bigotry, because of your foolish preconceived notions and your tribalism. And you let entire generations down because of your ignorance. You failed and let down entire generations, and we're all suffering down here in the gutter because of your inaction and your ignorance and your tomfoolery. So, yuck it up. Yuck it up while they call you cattle from their ivory towers, which is what I said this entire time. They let foreign pillagers come here and raid your coffers that they enticed with trinkets and pleasures. This has been going on since the Greeks and the Romans. You know, this has been going on since the Greeks and the Romans. They were telling me about this. I had a teacher named Mr. Shamrock that was telling me about this exact thing in world history class back in the early 2010s. Okay, he was telling me about the Diddler Islands of the Greeks and the Romans all the way back in the 2010s. Okay, he was like, yeah, those guys, they banged boys on islands. So this has been going on since time in memoriam. If you paid attention, if you weren't so ignorant, and you opened a history book up, you'd see that this has been going on since the biblical days. Okay, this has been going on since the biblical times. And what did you think? What did you think? I mean, I told you so, but you just don't want to listen because you're fools. Because you're ignorant fools. And you know, did you get anywhere? Did you do anything good for kicking me for no reason? Like I said, did you do any good in the world with my tax money by kicking me for no reason? Did you do anything good for the world with my tax money by kicking me for no reason? Lee County Sheriffs, you're already letting foreign pillagers raid my coffers. You're already kicking me for standing up to the business owners that got money that they borrowed. So, okay, I've been hearing about the information that's coming out now since I was a literal child. Okay, that's how long this has been an open secret. And your ignorance and your poor work and your ability, your inability to do the right thing, your inability to stand up for the right thing, your inability to listen to your gut instincts that tell you that what's going on is wrong. Your inability and your complacency has caused countless people to suffer unnecessarily. Okay? It is entirely within this country's means to, It is entirely within this country's means to not have Florida be an abject shithole that doesn't pay the standard of living anywhere. Okay? It is entirely within the means of the residents of Lee County to not have this place be a shithole that's getting worse by the day. But because you wanted to sit by and let foreigners pillage and raid while you Lee County Sheriff's officers put and irreversibly ruin my life to make me a for a murderer named Dustin Taylor who's laced drugs that's killed countless people in the North Fort Myers and Cape Coral area, because you wanted to make me a patsy for a drug trafficker and a guy that sells weapons instead of doing the right thing. Now my life is irreversibly ruined, and that's one of many people that the Lee County courts have failed. That's one of many people that the Lee County courts have failed while they serve the diddler elites, while they shake hands with Donald J. Trump. And there's pictures of it. And there's pictures of it too. While the elected officials of Lee County shake hands with Ron DeSantis and Donald J. Trump, and there's pictures of it. People on the Epstein list, they irreversibly ruin people like me's lives by making me a patsy for drug traffickers. And then you got people like Zenova and the masses that are kicking me while I'm down, for no reason, needlessly kicking me while I'm down, while you serve the people on the Epstein list. So, That's what your police officers that want to give me problems for standing up for myself when I get fired and act like I need to be back in jail when the first time they put me in jail was an affront to justice. When the first time that they put me in jail for felony charges was an affront to justice. Shit, the first time they put me in jail for fucking minor marijuana possession was a goddamn affront to justice. While the elected officials of Lee County shake hands with Donald Trump and Ron DeSantis. I told you this place sucked. I told you the whole time this place sucked. I told you I've known it since I was a child from reliable sources. I don't know how else to tell you that I've known exactly what's in the news now since I was a child from reliable sources without telling you that I've known exactly what's in the news now since I was a child from reliable sources. Okay? I remember my dad. I remember my family telling me before I could even figure out what the hell he was talking about. I remember my family telling me before I could even understand what the hell he was talking about, like, I don't want him banging my kids. Do you know how little sense that made to me? But like, he was talking about the powers that be. He was naming names. He was like, there's these people out there, these are the haves, and we're the have-nots, and I don't want them banging my kids. I had no idea what the hell he was talking about, but obviously it made sense to me over time. Like, fucking, he was like, there's the haves and the have-nots, and you're related to the people that forced them to pay minimum wage. And how the hell was I supposed to know what that meant? I was like, all right. He's like, there's the haves and the have-nots, and you are related to the people that fought the military to make them pay minimum wage and enforce workplace safety standards, and they want to bang your kids. How the hell was I supposed to know he was telling the truth? I thought he was just being a hillbilly. How the hell was I supposed to know that he was telling the truth? But, like, he was telling the truth. Like how was I supposed to know that he was telling the truth? Like, I was just like, all right, okay, Dad. Man, everyone rides the absolute hell out of their brakes in this state, and their brake lights piss me off. Their their brake lights piss me off so badly because I can't tell sometimes when I need to actually slow down because they just ride their brakes all goddamn day. These people probably spend like 50% of their drive hitting their brakes. Like, goddamn, dude. Well, this has been a productive conversation. As you can see, I've had one concurrent viewer that's probably like some like asshat that's been like the only that wants my he wants to there are some assholes that want to be the only people that watch my content. That's basically the conclusion I've come to. The conclusion I've come to is that there's assholes that decided like 3 or 4 years ago that they want to be the only people that ever watch my content. That's the only thing that I can come up with. Otherwise, there would be no reason for me to have like 0 to like 1 concurrent viewer ever max. That's the only thing. That's the only logical conclusion that I can come to is that there's like one asshat out there that's decided that he wants to be the one person that watches my channel and that no one else is allowed to watch my live streams except for this one asshole, and that he has somehow manipulated the algorithm to where my content never gets pushed, and because he is the only person aware of my content, they're like, otherwise why the fuck would I only ever get 1 viewer ever maximum, and then like no one fucking like ever shows up in my chat and says anything? Like, you can't tell me it's because I'm weird looking or whatever, because there's people that just watch people make noises. Like, there's people that just watch people make noises, okay? And you can't tell me in a world where people watch people just make noises that there's 0 people that want to interact with anything that I say ever. You can't tell me that that's possible. You can't tell me that it's possible that there's 0 people that are interested in having a back and forth with me on the planet. You can't tell me that that's possible. So the more likely conclusion is that like 3 or 4 years ago, like one asshole decided that he's going to try to make sure that my streams never that my live streams never get pushed in the algorithm. That's the only thing that makes sense to me, and you can't tell me otherwise, because there are plenty of people out there that have absolutely nothing to say, and the things that they do say to people are absolutely fucking stupid. Like, there's so many people that do streams where it's just them rambling, and then they'll go back and forth with people, and the shit that they say back to people is stupid, and the shit that people say to them is also stupid. So you can't tell me that because I've decided that everyone that has stopped by to say something is an asshole. And then there's the people that only pop in and they say a couple of things and then they leave. So like, you can't tell me that I've been doing this for years and people have been popping in and out for years, and that 0 people have decided that they want to interact with me in a way that isn't negative. Like, you can't tell me that 0 people have decided that they want to interact with me in a way that isn't negative, but people have been popping in and out of my streams for years. You can't tell me that that's possible, because it's not like I'm not capable of having a conversation. I'm more capable of having a conversation than like the vast majority of the world, because of the era I grew up in. Because of the era I grew up in, I'm actually more socialized than a vast majority of the goddamn world nowadays. And you can't tell me otherwise. You can't tell me that I'm less socialized than the vast majority of the world, when I'm far more capable of having a conversation that isn't absurd than a vast majority of the world. Like, have you tried talking to people nowadays? Have you tried talking to people nowadays? Like, I am better at socializing than a lot of people nowadays, especially in the workplace. Like, I am capable of being a pretty cool and chill person, and the vast majority of the world is not capable of being a cool and chill person. And you cannot tell me that I have not earned concurrent viewers. You can't tell me that I haven't earned concurrent viewers when I've been doing this for years, and fucking I'm so much more capable of holding an actual conversation than the vast majority of YouTube face streamers. Okay? I am so much more capable of holding a conversation, even in a format like this. Even in a format like this, I am far more capable of actually socializing than the vast majority of my peers that inhabit the earth now. Okay? And you can't tell me otherwise. Not only can you not tell me otherwise, I wouldn't believe you if you did. And it's just what I don't know what you expect. I don't know what you expect from me, but as I've said many times now, I hold a lifelong grudge against the world. I have not only a lifelong grudge against the world, I'm going to forever have many grievances with the world because of the fact that I wholeheartedly deserve to be paid not to work in this digital, in the current landscape of the world. I wholeheartedly deserve to be paid not to work by the internet, if anyone's getting paid not to work, because I've actually accomplished a feat in video gaming. I've actually accomplished a feat in video gaming. I've taken boxing classes. I don't care if I don't meet your standard of a boxer. Okay, the fact of the matter is that I've beaten thousands of people in VR boxing. VR boxing is not an unathletic endeavor. VR boxing is not only an athletic endeavor, it is a competitive video game, and it is not Wii Sports. It's not Wii Sports. It's not Wii Fit. It's fucking. It's not Wii Boxing. Fucking. It's literally like a legitimate. Not only is it a legitimate athletic endeavor, it is actually competitive, and it is like. It's more than shadow boxing with a VR headset on. It's more than shadow boxing. It's more productive than shadow boxing for real boxing. For real boxing, this is literally more productive than standing around shadow boxing. And that's what they have you do in a lot of actual boxing classes, okay? I've taken boxing classes. I've taken boxing classes with trainers that run a boxing gym that did a camp for like Roy Jones Jr. or some shit like that. So like, not only have I been to a legitimate boxing gym, when I did MMA classes at a boxing gym, it was from one of the OG fucking boxing coaches in MMA that competed professionally in boxing, and all those people gave me props, fucking, like, not just to keep me coming back either. They gave me props that they didn't have to give me. Like fucking, so like, and on top of that, I wrestled for like 4 goddamn years straight. Like, I did more wrestling than the average high school wrestler that just dabbles in fucking wrestling. Like, I wrestled with some legitimate motherfuckers, and I got coached by some legitimate motherfuckers in wrestling. Like, so I got coached by a dude that got kicked out of the fucking Soviet Union. Like, I got coached by a dude that got kicked out of the Soviet Union, and those people fucking will fucking give you a free ride. The Soviet Union would give people a free goddamn ride for life to do nothing but wrestling. To like show up to wrestling facilities that were more elaborate than anything the United States has ever offered. Fucking, that had more coaching than the United States has ever offered. The only thing that ever compared to the Soviet Union's wrestling programs were in the United States was Foxcatcher Ranch, which was funded by the DuPont Diddler elite family. Okay, and fucking the dude that was running it literally went fucking schizophrenic and unalived one of the best coaches that the program had. Okay, so that's the closest thing ever that the United States has had. That's where Kurt Angle came from, was fucking Foxcatcher Ranch. So that's the closest thing ever that the United States has had to a Soviet wrestling program. And I got coached in high school by someone that got kicked out of the Soviet Union for sneaking into an adult national tournament as a child that the fucking Russians were running. And I don't think he was like demographic wise a Russian. I think he was a pale Slavic dude, but I don't think he was a Russian. And that's a big deal because he was a child and he snuck into like a predominantly Russian Soviet adult wrestling tournament and made it to the semifinals, and then they found out he was a child and they kicked him out. That's who coached me in the off seasons when I was in high school, which is why I have thousands of wins in VR boxing, because that guy was a literal goddamn psychopath. Okay, so that is why I have the most VR boxing wins. But on top of that, like, it doesn't matter if you think I'm a boxer or not, okay? The fact of the matter is you are incorrect about VR boxing. VR boxing is more productive than shadow boxing, and shadow boxing is what they will have you spend in a ridiculous amount of time doing in a boxing class that you pay for nowadays. Is they will have you standing around shadow boxing or just diddling a heavy bag, which you could finance on your own for cheaper than paying for a boxing class. So like, yes, VR boxing is more productive for actual boxing than standing around in shadow boxing is. So if a lot of boxing classes want you to orchestrate your own road work. They want you to do your own cardio. They want you to do your own fucking weightlifting routine at home. If they don't want to actually condition you, if they don't want to actually run a program that conditions people for boxing when you're paying for it, then yes, VR boxing is probably more productive for someone that wants to just do boxing but doesn't want to pay for a boxing class. That's more productive than just standing around endlessly shadow boxing, which is what you're going to end up doing whether you go to an MMA gym or an actual boxing gym in a lot of places in the United States. So what I'm doing is more productive for actual boxing, which is why I'm beating people in VR boxing that spend time at actual boxing gyms. That's why I've beaten someone that has competed in professional MMA leagues in VR boxing, is because VR boxing is more productive to actual boxing than just standing around shadow boxing or hitting a heavy bag. It's literally more productive. That's what shadow boxing is. You're doing it against an actual person. How do you not understand that that's more productive than shadow boxing? That's what I want to know. What I want to know is how so many of you come here and assert the notion that VR boxing is a waste of time, but you'll pay to go to a boxing gym where they tell you to stand around shadow boxing for a majority of the class. You'll go to an MMA gym where they tell you to stand around shadow boxing for a majority of the class that you're paying for. You're goddamn paying for that, and they'll tell you to stand around shadow boxing at the MMA boxing class that you're paying for. How is that more productive than putting a VR headset on and doing a simulation of actually sparring people for hours straight when that's literally doing the sport? That's literally doing the sport. It's more productive than going to an MMA boxing class and paying hundreds of dollars to be told to stand around and shadow box. So I got my lunch here. If anyone cares to have lunch with me, I have my lunch here, and we're gonna put some tinctures on it, of course, because it's a Joey Diaz lunch, as always. As always, it is a Joey Diaz lunch. We're turning it into an edible. All right, we're turning it into an edible. But yeah, why do you think I beat the people that pay to go to boxing classes in VR boxing? Certainly, if they had a higher fight IQ than me, it would be impossible. And they certainly should have obtained a higher fight IQ than me with what they pay in the United States in MMA classes, with what they pay to be taught how to box, going to MMA boxing classes and going to actual boxing gyms. Certainly, for the money they're paying, they should be able to beat me in VR boxing. If they truly have a higher fight IQ than me, they should be able to beat me in VR boxing. If there's any merit to being an amateur that's paying to be told to shadow box at boxing classes and MMA boxing classes. Certainly, if being told to stand around and shadow box was more productive and a better use of your money and time than VR boxing, then these people should have a higher fight IQ than me. And if they have a higher fight IQ than me, then it shouldn't matter if it's VR boxing. They should be able to hit me. But they can't, because I have a higher fight IQ than them. Because I've used my time more wisely than them, as well as my finances, as well as my finances, I've used my time more wisely than them, which is why I'm able to beat them in VR boxing. Because surely, if paying to go to an MMA boxing class was worth the money and not a tremendous scam that I wonder how people fall for it, then they would have a higher fight IQ than me. Riddle me this. Riddle me this. If there were actually coaches that were worth a damn at these McDojos in the United States, then they wouldn't have failed iDubbbz. Certainly, right? You wouldn't want to attach your gym's name to iDubbbz. You wouldn't want to corner iDubbbz if there wasn't a bunch of scam artists running bullshit programs, the equivalent of people running fucking equivalent of like New York slumlord tier scammery. Like, certainly a boxing coach wouldn't want to put his name on iDubbbz and have him fight in a stadium if he wasn't a con artist. If there wasn't a bunch of coaches that were con artists running bullshit programs in the United States, then certainly they wouldn't corner iDubbbz to lose to Dr. Mike. If they were a coach that was worth a damn, why would you send someone that isn't prepared into a boxing ring to do a freak show fight? Because they have money? If you had any integrity, why would you corner iDubbbz? If there was integrity amongst the coaches of the United States and the professional fighters of the United States, if there was integrity left amongst these people, certainly you wouldn't corner iDubbbz to lose to Dr. Mike if you had integrity as a coach. So yeah, my time's probably better spent in VR boxing than it is waiting for coaches to want to make a fighter out of me once I give them enough $1,000 like you guys. Certainly not, right? Well, what a productive conversation, right? What a productive conversation. But I've concluded my dinner, and as you can see, what a packed house. What a packed house that's finally showing up to pay me not to work, as they should, for having the most VR boxing wins. It's an injustice, much like the U.S. legal system commits nothing but injustices against its people, as it serves to serve the diddler elite and no one else, to let foreigners come and raid our coffers, and to let diddlers rule over the masses, while the masses bend over backwards trying to strike down everyone that's speaking out against the diddlers that rule this place with an iron fist, whom the police protect their businesses, as their businesses commit grave injustices against the working masses, but the masses are too ignorant to stand up for themselves. The only reason you people get paid a minimum wage is because my ancestors stood up to the diddlers that rule this place with an iron fist and forced them to have workplace safety standards and minimum wage. And that is only because my ancestors stood up to the diddler elites that you bend over backwards to protect, by the way. You should be paying me not to work because you should be paying me not to work because I have the most VR boxing wins in the world, but you're too ignorant and foolish to even recognize that as an actual accomplishment because you can't tell what you're looking at half the time. You're literally blind. You're literally blind. You can't even tell what you're looking at half the time. But I'm going to go now because I'm done eating. Thanks for packing the house as usual to show up and listen to what I have to say. But you're too ignorant to recognize talent when you see it. Otherwise, you would be paying me not to work because you owe me money. I should be paid not to work because it is an injustice that I even have such a hard time finding work in the first place. It is a result of your corrupt legal system that strikes down the masses and uses them to fill the jails instead of the corrupt elite that rule this place unjustly and inhumanely. But you guys are too ignorant to know about things like that.